Hey Changemaker! Welcome to Learning for Good, the only podcast that teaches nonprofit leaders how to leverage training to drive performance, improve capacity, and fuel their mission impact. Do you ever feel like your nonprofit is growing, but your people just aren't keeping up? Or like you're fixing the same problems over and over? Do you wonder how to build confident, capable staff who know how to lead, not just execute? If we haven't met yet, I'm Heather, and I know how hard it can feel to get people to do what's expected of them. Trust me, I have 3 kids. I've tried telling people what to do and how. I've tried the traditional training approaches, and I realized that just doesn't work. And that's when I started researching what does work. Now, I help mission-driven leaders use learning to drive performance, build capacity, and make change that lasts. And I'm sharing it all on this podcast. So block your calendar, turn off your Teams or Slack chat, and let's dive in. It's Learning for Good.
Learning and development professionals have always faced the pressures of just get it done. We have training requests piled up so high, they're starting to look like my kids' Christmas wish list. You know the type. Every wish, dream, and want from every advertisement they've seen, plus whatever they can come up with in their heads. I mean, my 3-year-old asked for Beats headphones for Christmas this past year. And my 7-year-old asks for a new dollhouse every single year. The requests aren't realistic. People come to us because they want training, and their demands get louder and louder. Now, with AI in the mix, the just get it done mentality almost comes off as a threat. If you don't do it, I will. Just throw it in AI and tell it to create the training. But we all know that AI is a tool, not a solution. It can save us time, but it can't create change. So what do? How do we manage the demands of our stakeholders while also bringing our expertise that takes time to apply if you want to really create change? That's what we're going to explore today. Let's dive in. It's Learning for Good. Let me start by saying you are not a training factory. You, my friend, are a change agent. That's what training can do. It can change lives. It can change performance. It can change careers. And it can change the outcomes of your mission work. But change takes time. And time is what no one seems to have enough of. So what do? We have training requests piling up. We want to create change, but we are treated like a training factory that can just produce a new training in a day. First, let's think about the process of behavior change. Have you ever tried to change a behavior or create a new habit in your own life? Maybe you wanted to get up earlier, go for a walk each day, journal. Maybe you wanted to work out more, eat healthier. Maybe you wanted to spend more quality time with your kids or save money or read more. Think about that change that you wanted to make. It's hard, right? I want so badly to be a morning person. I want a good morning routine. I want coffee in the quiet, a walk with my pup, time to think, reflect, and plan. And it sounds so nice in the middle of the day. But when that alarm goes off at 5 a.m., it sounds less nice. And I hit the snooze button, roll back over, and go to sleep. Why is this habit so hard to change? I have a cue, my alarm goes off, it's time to get up. But when that alarm goes off, my motivation is low. So my behavior goes unchanged. Maybe you've experienced something like this too. Change is hard. Here's the thing. When our stakeholders come to us asking for training, they aren't thinking about what it actually takes to change behavior. They're thinking about traditional approaches to training. Information transfer, butts in seats, talking head instructor, maybe an e-learning if they're quote unquote modern thinkers. They're thinking about traditional training. So why can't you do that in a day? Why can't you just throw it into AI and get a result? This is where my first recommendation comes in. We have to think of ourselves not as learning designers, but as change agents. If we are learning designers and they are asking for learning, we are more likely to say yes. But if we view ourselves as change agents, we are forced to pause and ask some good questions and advocate for what real change requires. So shift your focus from learning to change. Yes, learning is what we do to create change, but change is the ultimate goal. You are a change agent. Next, we have to sell that concept to the people around us. Our stakeholders are pretty attached to traditional training. It's probably worked for them in the past. We have to help them see training differently. This means we have to learn to influence people, persuade, and maybe sell. It's the only way we can move them out of the we've always done it this way mentality or the just get it done mindset. The word influence comes from the Latin word of influentia, and it means having the power or capacity to change someone's behavior or development. It's literally what we do in learning and development. So we have to use influence with our stakeholders too. Third, to create change and to meet tight training factory-like deadlines, we have to keep things simple. We have to work with our stakeholders to simplify the scope of their training request. You know what typically happens when a stakeholder requests a training. It becomes a big old knowledge dump. They want to include every single detail to fix every single problem with one single training. But that isn't how people learn, and it isn't how people change. We have to help them narrow the scope. We can ask them, what exactly do you need people to do? What are the actions you need them to take? And then what do they need to know to do those things? Now, there are a million different questions you can ask them in the needs analysis process or the intake process even, as that can help narrow that scope. But those two questions alone, what do you need people to do and what do they need to know to do those things? Those two questions alone will help you cut the fluff out of the training request. Now, at this point, you might start to get some pushback from them. I get it. I've been there. So we have to learn to navigate that pushback. We all want the same outcomes. We all want to see change. So the next recommendation is to arm yourself with information that you can use to influence your stakeholders. Study learning science. You don't have to go to school for it. You can if you want. You don't have to get a separate certification. You can if you want, but study it. Read the books, listen to podcasts, connect with peers in L&D. The nonprofit L&D Collective is a private community I host for exactly this, to help you have the tools, insights, and support you need to create real change. So study how people learn and study how people change. Read books like James Clear's Atomic Habits or BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits. Follow behavioral scientists on LinkedIn. And again, Talk to people who are creating change in their own organizations. There are nonprofit L&D pros who are doing this work. Come find them and connect with them in the Nonprofit L&D Collective and listen to their stories right here on this podcast. Every little bit helps, because when you get pushback, you want to have that perfect little nugget of wisdom, nugget of insight that will help them change their mind, change their perspective. And that's important. We can't do this work alone. We need to be learning from others, and we need to be able to influence our stakeholders so we can act as the change agents we are. I'll see you next time on Learning for Good.
Hey friend, was this episode helpful for you? Did you like what you heard? Do you want more content like this? Here are 3 things you can do. Hit subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast app of choice, share this episode with a colleague. This means so much to me personally. I read every review, but it also helps me learn what content you like most so I can create more of what you want. All right, turn that Teams or Slack chat back on when you're ready, and I'll see you next time on Learning for Good.